So what I want to do now is I want to give value to these guys and be like, what does it take to get to this point? What does it take to get now to this point? And now what does it take to get to the point where you're at right now? Right. That's
Yeah.
what I want to talk about. Now, I will say real quick that for me to get to the 1 million mark, literally it was about just getting leads.
Yeah.
How do I get leads? Because that's like the number one thing when you're first starting an insurance agency. Because I remember when I first started my insurance agency, I had a buddy that started at the same exact time.
Yeah.
We used to ask each other, dude, did you get a quote today? No. Did you? No. That happened a lot
Mm-hmm.
because when I first started insurance, they said make a list of 100 people, right? Start calling those people for insurance because everybody needs insurance. Work off that list and then get referrals. Like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, once you exhaust that list, what do you go? What do you do?
Yeah.
You're like, where do I go? So I got to that point where I'm like, I exhausted the list. What am I going to do? And that's what got me into like trying to market online. And I'll tell you, one of the first things that they gave me a good amount of leads in the beginning and that anybody can implement with a very small budget. And you've probably done this before. You probably like don't even remember because you've done all this stuff before. But I call it actually, I didn't, James did this for me. He calls it digital commercials, right?
Okay.
This is what I did. I'll tell you real quick. I did one video with me and my wife explaining what we do in the agency. I
Mm-hmm.
ran a Facebook ad for just like $5 a day, like very inexpensive.
Yeah.
And what I did was and I did it in the area that we work and we live in because you can do that on Facebook.
Yep. Yep.
Where you can target
Yeah, it's
areas
all radius based. Yeah.
exactly. So you can easily do that where only those people can see it because you want that because you want the people in your area to see it
Right. Right.
instead
Right.
of versus like doing like a TV commercial that's going to cost you $100,000 or whatever. And it's just a broad, whatever, everybody sees it, right? Super expensive. Anyway,
Yeah.
I did the video and then I did a retargeting videos after that for anybody that saw it. You know what retargeting is, right? For
Yep.
those that don't know, what does retargeting mean?
So retargeting pretty much means like think about Amazon, right? So if you go on Amazon and you look at an item, let's say that you're looking for like a clipper for your hair. Let's just say that, right? And then all of a sudden you come out of Amazon, it's, the cookies follow you. So let's say you go on Facebook or Google or a different website, then all of a sudden you see those clippers again, and that's retargeting because they're retargeting you from the things that you actually liked on the website that you were on.
Yeah, dude. I was always wondering why Facebook is just showing me stuff I already saw. I'm like, man, this is crazy.
Yes.
Anyway, so I showed them the first video. It's basically me explaining, hey, we sell insurance, blah, 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 explaining ourselves and what we do. And then I would retarget them with educational videos like, hey, this is flood insurance, so-and-so, and educate them on flood insurance. Next, retarget them again, next video, home insurance, life insurance, blah, blah, blah. I ran that for about 6 months to a year. Dude, I ran it so much, like my neighbors were telling me, hey, dude, I keep seeing your commercial on Facebook. I'm like, commercial? What commercial? He was
Right.
talking about those Facebook
Nice.
ads that I was writing, those videos, right?
Very cool.
I don't know if you ever did anything like that, but
Mm.
that now you can implement that right now and it
Yes.
still work.
You know the way I did it, I didn't do it as like videos like you did. I actually did it as blogs, like
Yeah.
just like throwing things out there pretty much.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if anybody watching this, you can do that very inexpensively and get your name out there for like $5-10 a day and run that and get some leads. I mean, really, you only need one person to sell and you're already break even if you run.
Pretty much. Yep.
And the only reason I stopped that was because I started getting so many leads off of like loan officers and the other strategies that we implement and fully covered that I'm like, dude, I can't handle these leads. Let me stop that. The second thing I started doing is running, and everyone does this in insurance when they start marketing online. Then I started running Facebook ads for insurance, right? You tried that, I'm sure. Home insurance, auto insurance. Yeah.
I spent so much money on that before. Oh,
yeah. So that worked. I mean, I was getting leads. The only problem with that, it's an internet lead. If anybody's worked internet leads before, you know that the closing percentage on those are very low. You have to have a really good system in place to follow up. You have to call really fast within the first minute to really, or first 5 minutes to really maximize those leads.
Yep.
So that worked pretty good, right? And then what really started doing it is when I started. I only had one loan officer when I first started the agency, and the guy would send me his deals, and I wanted to give value back to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, if this Facebook stuff works for insurance, I'm sure it'll work for mortgage people too.
Right.
Started running ads for mortgage people, and that worked really well. Once it started working for one loan officer, I started reaching out to more. And
how
that's
did you? I mean, let me stop you.
Yeah.
Let's back it up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So how did you? One, when did you start your agency?
2017 January.
January 2017. Okay. And then what did you do your first year, like in production wise?
Right under 1 million. It was like 900 and like really close to a million.
Okay. And then how did you learn how to generate leads for a loan officer?
That portion of it I learned through a guy named Bobby Stocks.
Okay.
Because I was already running leads for insurance. I was already doing that. And then I found Bobby that he was doing it for mortgage guys. I'm like, hey man, how are you doing this for mortgage guys? And he helped me out, and he's the one that taught me how to run not only the mortgage leads, but also the long form type of stuff that we still run now. Okay. And he's a partner with us on Fully Covered. Yeah. But once I started doing that, and I started picking up loan officers, that is what really, that actually, because my first 3 or 4 months in the agency, we weren't writing that much. It was really the last 7 to 8 months of the loan officer stuff is what really propelled my agency in the beginning. So getting back to it, to get to $1 million, you need to have a lead generating system. That's like step one.
Step one, period.
How are you going to generate leads for your insurance agency? Hey, man, if it works doing the school stuff, the community stuff, if that works, great.
Yep, stick with it.
I personally did not like doing stuff like that. Oh. I much rather market myself online and have those leads generating and coming to me instead of me having to do that type of stuff.